After a few sessions with a client, something starts to emerge that you simply can't see in a single conversation. Patterns. The way they always react when certain topics come up, the beliefs that surface again and again, the ways of being they've been running for years, sometimes since childhood. This is where ongoing coaching relationships become truly powerful. And this is what Marker 6.06 is all about. So here's the thing about single sessions versus ongoing relationships. In a single session, you hear what the client brings to the conversation that day. You get surface content, immediate concerns, that's valuable. But when you work with someone over multiple sessions, you start seeing invisible threads connecting their experiences, recurring themes that weave through completely different topics. And here's what's fascinating. These patterns are often completely invisible to the client themselves. They're too close to see what you can see from your vantage point. That's your advantage as their coach. Your ongoing relationship gives you a perspective they simply don't have on their own. ICF puts it this way: the coach notices trends in the client's behaviors and emotions across sessions to discern themes and patterns. Notice the key word there, discern. You're not just observing, you're making meaning from what you see over time. This is why coaching engagements matter. One-off sessions have value, absolutely, but transformation happens when you can track someone's story across time. This competency is actually what distinguishes coaching relationships from consulting conversations or therapeutic interventions. We have the privilege of watching the whole story unfold. So what exactly are you watching for? Let me walk you through this. First, recurring emotional reactions. Notice how certain topics consistently trigger the same feelings. Excitement when they talk about innovation, deflation around budget discussions, anxiety every single time leadership is mentioned. Second, repeated behavioral responses. How do they consistently act across different situations? Do they always over-prepare, always defer to others, always take on too much? Third, limiting beliefs that surface. Listen for beliefs that appear again and again, often disguised in different language. The belief "I'm not ready yet" shows up in so many forms. And fourth, themes threading through. Those deeper themes that connect seemingly different conversations. Control, perfectionism, belonging. These threads reveal what matters most to your client. Let me give you a framework for thinking about the kinds of patterns you'll notice. Behavioral patterns, how they consistently act or respond in situations. Does this person always volunteer for the difficult assignments? Do they consistently avoid conflict? Emotional patterns, how they consistently feel or react to certain triggers. Every time we discuss their direct reports, their energy drops. Every time we talk about their creative projects, they light up. Cognitive patterns, beliefs, and thoughts that keep appearing in different contexts. The same self-limiting story showing up whether we're talking about work or family or health. And relational patterns, how they consistently show up with others across relationships. The same dynamic playing out with their boss, their peers, their team. When you start looking through these lenses, patterns emerge everywhere. Here's what I want you to understand about this work. When you're working with somebody on a regular basis, you're going to get to know them really well. You're going to see how they react to certain things, what energizes them, what shuts them down. You're going to see how they handle challenge, how they handle frustration, what makes them frustrated in the first place. You're going to see how they may be self-sabotaging. You might see limiting beliefs that keep popping up over and over, often wearing different disguises. This depth of knowing is one of the most valuable things you can offer as a coach. You become a mirror that reflects back what they cannot see on their own. Let me make this concrete with some examples. You have a client who consistently downplays their wins every session. It wasn't that big a deal. Anyone could have done it. That's not humility. That's a pattern of self-diminishment. and it's worth exploring. Or you notice a client who gets animated and expansive when discussing creative work, but becomes flat and brief when management topics arise. That energy shift across sessions suggests something important about alignment with their role. Or here's one I see frequently: the client who ends every session with "I should really," but never follows through. That language pattern indicates external obligation rather than internal motivation. And watch for the same defensive reaction surfacing every time organizational change is mentioned, regardless of the specific change. That pattern reveals something deeper about control needs. These patterns become visible over time. Your job is to notice them. So how do you actually track patterns intentionally? Because this doesn't happen automatically. First, mental notes during sessions. Stay present while also maintaining a meta-awareness. When something strikes you as familiar, make a mental bookmark to explore later. Second, written notes between sessions. Capture your observations immediately after sessions end. Write down what you noticed, what felt familiar, what themes emerged. Third, notice when something feels familiar. Trust your instinct when you think, "I've heard this before." That déjà vu moment is often your pattern recognition at work. And fourth, ask yourself before and during each session, "Have I seen this before?" Briefly review recent themes before you meet. During the session, actively wonder whether current content connects to past conversations. This intentionality is what separates masterful coaching from good coaching. Now, let me tell you what gets in the way of this skill. Only listening within sessions and failing to track themes across the coaching relationship. You're missing the bigger picture when you do that. Seeing patterns but staying silent. This is a big one. Noticing without sharing keeps insights locked in your head where they can't create change. Your observations need to make it into the conversation, and confusing your assumptions for patterns. Projection is not observation. Be careful here. Verify what you're seeing with curiosity, not certainty. Here's what works. Patterns become powerful when shared with the client. Your observations only create transformation when you bring them into the conversation with invitation and curiosity. Name what you notice, then ask if it resonates. Co-create the meaning together. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Patterns only create change when your client sees them too. You can notice every pattern in the world, but if it stays in your head, it's not coaching. Your role as a pattern identifier has 3 parts. Notice the pattern across sessions with intentionality. Bring it into the conversation with curiosity and invitation, and co-create meaning and insight with your client. So seeing patterns is powerful, but patterns only create change when your client sees them too. So how do you bring what you've noticed into the conversation in a way that creates insight rather than defensiveness? That's exactly what we're covering next.